Hello, guys. Welcome to Stick With It. This one is a bittersweet one because you will be missing Mary for a couple of episodes here. Mary, I'll let you tell everyone. I mean, we've talked about it before, but
Yep, but it's official. This is our last recording before I have my baby in 2.5 weeks, basically. So
yes,
I'll be
they,
back in August for our next recordings in
yeah,
August. So if you miss me that much, come back and see me then.
exactly. Yeah, I know I'll be missing you. I know I'll also be connecting with more people to chat and kind of like fill your little spot while you're gone. So I'm excited to talk with everyone and kind of get the opportunity to chat. So I figured that since this is centered around us and really kind of not reminiscing but squeezing out the time that we have together as much as possible, I figured we'd take the time to share a little bit about ourselves. So, 5 facts about us. I figured because it's two of us, we would maybe answer kind of like the same category of questions, although there is one wild card thrown in there that we just kind of could pick whatever we wanted to share. So,
Yeah, I think that it would I agree with you. I think we'll kind of go back and forth and it'll work. So,
yeah.
all right. Well, I think before we get started answering a bunch of questions, let's get our blood sugar tests going
Yes.
and see how we're faring this morning.
Yes, absolutely.
I literally was just eating a bunch of breakfast as I was kind of preparing the record for the episode.
Yep,
So,
same here. You know how I told you I like blueberry bagels?
yes.
Well, I've changed my mind. The Hawaiian brand bagels are the best thing I've ever had in my life. I'm
Oh,
like so
really?
addicted to them. Yeah, they have like a sweetness that I just cannot describe.
I have not tried those. I looked at those at the grocery store.
Oh, they're so good.
I literally didn't think that I got enough blood because the drop was so small, but I surprised myself. I am
Oh, there you go.
106. So I know.
Amazing. I'm
That's
120 right now.
I
So,
think a lot of times people think that they need more blood than they do. I mean, all
mhm.
meters are a little bit different, and I think the Rely On is kind of known to be um, a little bit more of a thirsty meter, but
Yeah.
no problem for Genteel.
Yeah, I even noticed when the A team did their video testing with Gentile, either I think it was Alana or Laura, I don't remember, or Elia, but she was like, "Oh, it's tiny" when he got the blood out, and they were able to check with it just fine. So,
Yep, no need
yeah,
to squeeze too much. That's
yeah.
avoid that step if you possibly can.
Exactly. Yeah. I sometimes when we see people squeezing, it's like, oh, you just gotta let the genteel do its job. Like
Yep,
you just gotta wait just a second.
that vacuum will do it. And I don't know if you might be able to see. I like pumped it a little bit too. That sometimes helps get the blood flow going. But
Yes.
that's the thing with pregnancy, though. Your circulation is not fantastic. So I think that probably is why I'm not getting as much blood as I normally do.
Yeah, and I wonder if like typing all day or like sitting, having your hands like bent, like that probably has a huge impact as well.
I actually am I'm a huge nerd, which we'll get into that in one of our questions.
Yeah.
But I have my desk, so like my arms are pretty straight just sitting.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah,
Good, good,
I
good.
pay attention to that because I've dealt with carpal tunnel too many times.
No, and you have like the really ergonomic chair, the gaming chair, so and you have like the
Yep.
armrest, so it's like amazing.
Uh-huh. That's exactly it. I just have spent a lot of time sitting at a computer at a desk, so
Yep, you got to be comfortable, especially in this season of your life.
uh-huh, exactly. I have a footrest right now, actually, speaking of.
They- Perfect. You know what? That's amazing. How's your body pillow faring? Is it not helpful anymore, or is it
Uh,
still like,
no, I don't think I could sleep without it at this point.
oh yeah, I can't even
Yeah,
imagine.
because it's like I just kind of prop my belly right underneath it. Otherwise, it's so heavy and it's hard to get
Oh
comfortable anyway. So I
yeah.
switch from side to side like all night long.
Uh, Well, I'm glad you have those things to help make that easier. And for people with gestational diabetes, Genteel would be one of those things too. So that's amazing.
Yes, I'm so fortunate that I don't have to deal with one thing added on top of everything else that you deal with when you're pregnant. So,
Yeah.
anybody who's going through gestational or has any sort of complication, my heart goes out to you guys because
Yeah.
that's a real super mom right there before you even have your baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about diabetes warriors. There's one of them for sure.
Exactly, and the many types, and gestational should not be left out.
Exactly. So I guess let's get into our questions. I guess for Flo, I'm just going to ask you first and then I'll respond.
Perfect.
How did you end up at Genteel?
So this one's a little bit, I mean, for the sake of trying to keep this a little short, I think that I'll try and make it very succinct.
Yeah.
I worked for a marketing and advertising agency in Portland that used to, Genteel was one of their clients. And then they parted ways at one point, and then I ended up quitting my job there. And then I get a phone call probably 3 or 4 months after I quit my job, and they're like, well, we're looking for somebody to help us out with our marketing team. We kind of need somebody who's organized and kind of can keep track of everything. And I was like, sure, I'll come down and talk to you guys. I'm familiar with the product and everything. And here we are 6 years later.
Yes. I think it's so cool to be able to work with someone who has seen the evolution of Genteel as much as you have. So it's really awesome.
Yeah, they were in the prototype stage and just not even really selling on the market when I was working with the agency at first. So it was brand new company at that point.
Yeah. Talk about faith too.
Yeah, very much so.
Well, I ended up at Genteel because I was job hunting after I graduated college. And I actually didn't see the brand name associated with like who I was applying for. I was applying through a third party company. So it was just like, this is a medical device company, et cetera, just like kind of regular details about the business without really like disclosing too much. And I show up at the office and Chris meets me at the door and he says, "Oh, hello, you're here." Calls Josh and Mary, goes, "Josh, Mary, Mitra's here." Except I don't know if I had even had the opportunity to say my name. But anyways, I was just really enamored by the fact that I was given so much trust. And, one of my first projects was putting together or helping to coordinate the trip for Medica in Germany. So that was like, I feel like a pretty big thing for the company at the time. So to kind of be thrown into that, obviously I learned a lot.
And that's a stressful task too. I took,
Stressful task.
yes.
Fun fact, I built the little, what do you call it? The displays that you kind of like the cubicles that they set up.
Yeah, their booth.
And I royally messed up and forgot to pack the display screens that were supposed to go in, like installed into the little walls and stuff. So it's safe to say I've learned quite a bit working here.
I have messed up my fair share of planning trade shows too. So
Yeah.
once you do it once, you won't do it again because trade shows are a lot of pressure.
Yep. And they'll be back soon enough in the near future, I hope. So more chances to hone our organizational skills.
Exactly. And I remember the interview process, and we interviewed quite a few people for your position.
Really?
And I remember like a couple things that kind of stuck out to me. You said you wanted to do something that was impactful and like that really like touched people's lives. And that's a big reason why I also joined Genteel. And so that really resonated with me. I was like, I think I'm going to be able to work really well with her because we have the same sort of drive and passion. We don't want to just do something that's kind of useless and do something that's going to be more putting something out there that's lifelong and worthwhile. And
Yeah.
also the fact that you said you were very flexible working for your mom. That helps
Yeah.
out too.
Yeah. Small businesses, flexibility is like key. So
Yes, very
you got to
much.
be able to roll with the punches.
Exactly.
Well, okay, what is our next thing? Oh, this is our one random fact of our choice. So I'll let you disclose that.
So, a random fact is my parents had me on skis when I was 5 years old. So,
Oh,
I started skiing at a very, very young age, switched to snowboarding probably when I was about 10, and I've been doing it since. So, I'm like a 22-year veteran for snowboarding, basically.
wow. So,
Yes.
so you prefer snowboarding over skiing?
Yeah, well, I haven't done it since I was like 6, but yes.
Okay. Oh my gosh. And then you were also in gymnastics, so all around the athletic little girl.
Yes, and that will come into play a little bit further too. That's also
Okay.
something that I will mention because
No
overall, my
spoilers.
parents really pushed the sports. Well, they didn't really push it. I always kind of just like
Inclined.
gravitated towards it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Outdoor tomboy wearing the overalls, you know.
I love it. That's so cute. Oh, okay. Oh, what was my
Your
random?
random fact, yes.
So, my random fact is that I'm actually a makeup artist. This little office is also my makeup studio. So, with it being summer and weddings being in full swing, I'm working 7 days a week right now, which is actually fun because I like both of my jobs. I love being at Gentile and I love doing makeup. So, it's all a labor of love for sure. But yeah, like if I were to turn this little camera around, you would see like a makeup desk and little like containers with makeup brushes in it. So
I was
yeah.
gonna say you do a whole office switch basically every single week. So
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have my like two monitors here. So Monday morning, I move my makeup brushes into my little closet over there. I move all the rest of the stuff, all the clutter, and then sanitize and just set my little office up. So
switch to monitors and keyboards.
exactly.
So if you're in the Portland area, Portland, Vancouver area, I will say, make sure you hit Mitra up because she's one talented person. You should
Oh,
plug your Instagram.
well, I'll put it in the description. How about that?
That works. Question 3.
Question three. Yes. Something someone wouldn't know by just looking at you.
So you've already mentioned it, and I know I've made a few hints. And if you are in the gaming community, you would know by just my chair specifically.
Yeah.
But I love to play video games, PC games, console games, you name it. That is definitely one of the things that keeps me sane outside of work if I can't get outside. So like when I'm being pregnant, walking around's not the easiest. I'm playing my Nintendo Switch. So
I love that. And I love the fact that I can have two people in my life. Like my husband is big into gaming and you are big into gaming. So I'm always like he's always asking me questions like what games does she play? And then I'll like be on Slack and be like, so like tell me what games you're into. And then I'll go back to Rob and be like, well, ask her about this. I
yes, and we still have yet to play a game. So we'll have to figure out when we're
know.
gaming on the same games basically. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Something someone wouldn't know about me is that I'm kind of a sensitive person. I seem like the type of person that like things would roll off my back, but in my mind, I'm just like going over every interaction I've ever had, every awkward thing I've ever said. So I'm kind of a pro at seeming like I'm a-okay and being a little bit neurotic on the inside.
I think a lot of
But I think
people
that's a universal
I
struggle.
was gonna say a lot of people can relate to that. Probably on different levels, of course, but yes,
Yeah.
you do a good job of making people not aware of that at all.
Yeah, it's good and it's bad, but I think having a work culture too that is so understanding and accepting and feeling that I can like talk to my boss you about mental health issues, I think is really fantastic. Like as an employee, that is one of the biggest like elements that keeps you happy in a job is having a supportive team behind you and management that advocates for you and has your back. So I know that's not super lighthearted, but it is very positive that it's that is this way with Genteel. So
And that's another thing about you is, like you said, it's not necessarily lighthearted, but you find the positives in about everything you try. See, at least from
I
my
try.
point of
You
view.
gotta.
I know it's so true because it's easy to get kind of stuck in like that cycle of like, did I say something wrong? Are they over? Like, you're more critical of yourself than other people are. That is
Yep.
very much true.
So true. And yeah, I mean, they say we're our own worst critic for a reason. It's like I said, it's a universal struggle. So yeah, a little fact about me. Question number 4, a little bit more lighthearted. Your favorite ice cream flavor?
Okay, so this one was actually really, really hard for me because I absolutely love ice cream.
Yes.
That's also a little known fact or a random fact, whatever. I love
Yeah.
ice cream. I even had a friend once. So before I answered her that, she called me, left a voicemail. She's like saying something, and I thought I heard ice cream, like they're going to get ice cream. And so I texted her back. I called her back like ASAP. And she's like, Mary, we didn't talk about ice cream. Nobody said ice cream. And I was like, oh, well, we're getting ice cream now. But basic flavor. I love my chocolate chip cookie dough. So
Oh, yes. So I didn't know that you were such an ice cream fanatic. I wish I would have known this the past 2 years, that that's the key to your heart.
it is. Get me some ice cream and I'm a happy little bunny.
That's so cute. Okay. Well, I also agree. Like ice cream is like the bane of my existence. Like I have to get those like I have to have ice cream every night before bed. Like it's a problem. Like
Yes.
so I have to get the little like skinny cow like light like low calorie because like come on, if I were to have ice cream every night that probably wouldn't be super good for me. So
No.
I try and keep it somewhat manageable, but I either love like if I'm going to indulge, I either love like a good like original Haagen-Dazs bar like with like the vanilla on the inside and the hard crunchy oh, that is like chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Or I love a good coffee flavored ice cream. And
Oh,
I've
yeah.
loved coffee flavored ice cream since I was a little girl. Like I would be like 5 years old at the ice cream shop ordering coffee ice cream.
Most girls go for like bubble gum or something like that. And
Yeah.
Kamisha's go for the coffee. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been to Salt and Straw?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. They have really cool flavors. And it's so cool seeing them expand like all over the place.
I agree. And that is, it's so, speaking of Salt and Straw, there's some of their flavors, there's some that are hit and miss. And I
Yeah.
know like there's one that they have on their popular menu and it's olive oil. Have you tried the olive oil ice cream?
Oh, you know what? I think I have, and I think it was really good.
See, I didn't like it. I didn't.
Really?
Yeah, I just tried a sample because it was like Oprah's favorite ice cream or something like that,
Oh,
and I was just like, "Where's the flavor? Like, where's the sweets? I want to crunch, like something along
yeah.
those lines." So
It is really mild. And you know, do you like pistachio flavored
I
ice cream?
love pistachio ice cream. Yes.
So I had the olive oil and pistachio like together. So maybe that's
Oh.
why it was good because it was like a good combination. Because I can totally see how like just the olive oil by itself would be like a little underwhelming.
Yeah, and it's got a weird like after texture. That's okay. We'll stop.
Mm.
Yeah, stop.
We have
We're
to,
ice cream
you and
connoisseurs.
I would talk about ice cream the entire time.
I know what we're doing after I get recover a little bit from the baby. We're going out for
Exactly.
ice cream.
All right. This one, okay, so I wrote these questions, you guys, not even thinking that I had to answer them, and realized that this last question was really difficult to come up with. So I'm excited to hear what yours is. But what is your proudest atypical accomplishment?
So I again yesterday I was reading them and I think I even slacked you. I was like, Misha, I had to confirm some of these, and
Yeah.
I decided I wasn't gonna think about them last night. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go with whatever I first think about in the
Yeah.
morning.
Same.
And the first thing that comes to mind is related to gymnastics. So I did gymnastics probably till I was like 13 or 14. And I made it to state in competition. I was the
Dang.
only person in my little gym in my small town that made it to state. So I was very excited. I placed fourth actually, so I
Oh,
did
wow.
well there. But my coach didn't even show up for the competition at state because he forgot because there's nobody else that was part of it. So
What? Oh
I
my God.
yep. So I show up and like my coach isn't there and I'm starting to like cry a little bit. I'm like panicking. And thankfully this other team in the Denver area, they're just like, "Here, join us. You can just go ahead and sit in with our team and have a good time." It was fantastic. Like that changed my whole day around. But yeah, I'm pretty proud. I made it to state. Only person in my
And
whole
you
little
were
gym.
13 or 14?
I think on that one I was 13 when I made it in.
Dude, 13, you show up to this big like event that you're like is all hyped up. You're like the only one and your support system isn't there.
Yep.
Like, wow, that is insane.
And that's
And how
probably, I stopped right around that time too for that. I think that reason my mom was not happy with the coaches and everything like that, just because they're like, how do you drop the ball on something this big?
I feel, yeah, that is insane. And the fact that like you were able to make the best of it, that is amazing.
I don't think I would have pulled through if the other team didn't. Like, I'm pretty sure they saw me like crying a little bit. And so they were like, come on, girl, you could join us.
Oh, and it's funny because like when you're at that age, you can not be like as open. Like sometimes it's like intimidating when like people that you don't know like reach out to you because you're like, this is like these are new people. So it says a lot about you that you were like open enough to be like, yeah, like let's do this.
I mean, I got myself hyped up for that day, I will say. So I was very ready to do it. So I
Oh,
was
that's
proud of myself.
yeah, that I would be too. Um, my proudest atypical accomplishment. So I have always been into the arts, but being the daughter of two immigrants who were struggling artists in Iran, that was like the last thing they wanted me to pursue professionally. They were like, be a doctor, be a lawyer, like be something like that, and we'll be happy. As that is the story for a lot of immigrant children. So I always kind of, I would take art classes, but never allowed myself to like go to art school or like consider anything like that. Um, and I was always really kind of like shy about sharing anything that I did, sharing my art. I really didn't like I couldn't even call myself an artist because I thought it was so like pretentious to like call yourself that. First, it was just like kind of fed in my brain. Um, but about 3 years ago, something like clicked in my brain, and I was like, why am I stopping myself from doing that, like something that I love? And, another like story that's fed to you oftentimes by society is like, if you're not getting paid for something or you're not monetizing on something, um, then don't waste your time doing it. Like it's just a hobby, like don't take it seriously. But I think it's so important to take your hobbies seriously because that's part of who you are. Like how can you deny yourself of that, right? So I started sharing my stuff, like doing art or doing photo shoots that might even some of the thematic elements were not super mainstream, and so that in and of itself is kind of difficult to share. Um, but yeah, ever since I just kind of opened myself up to really being proud of my hobbies, I feel like I've just become a much happier person. So I would say that would be my proudest atypical accomplishment.
And you have a good support online. There's a lot of people that like your work. You get tons of people like appreciating what you do. I have a piece of your art over here sitting ready to be framed once I get everything all painted. So
Thank you.
yes, you're a very, very talented individual. And I
Yeah.
mean, I don't have the same pressures as you do, I don't think, because my parents are super supportive of what I wanted to do, going to school for graphic design.
Yeah.
But everybody in my family was either like my aunts are doctors,
Yeah.
I've got lawyers in my family, all of that. Even my cousins, like one's an engineer, the other one's got his MBA in business, and
Yeah.
I'm sitting over here with my bachelor's in graphic design. But you know
No.
what? I'm loving it. So
And you're making, regardless of what title you have, you're making such a big impact on the world in ways that it wouldn't have even occurred to you. And then on the flip side too, like I'm so happy to report that now, like my parents are the type of people that are like, if they even hear a whisper of someone saying like, oh, like I need to paint, commission a painting, or I need to, someone needs a logo. My parents are like, oh, well, my daughter, and like are the first ones to like advocate for me. So there, it's you're the only person holding yourself back. The stories that you feed yourself, don't always believe them. Is I guess the takeaway.
exactly. Just like you said, if it's your passion, go for it. Like you might
Yeah,
as well just do your best, and it'll make you a lot happier in the long run than grinding at something that you don't really want to do.
exactly. And you'll be better at doing what you're passionate about too. So why not?
Exactly.
All right. Well, I think that's a really sweet note to end it on. I know we're gonna miss you a lot. Everyone at Genteel doesn't want you to leave. They're like, our CEO is like, can you put this baby on hold?
No,
No,
definitely
not
not.
possible.
No, I'm ready for him to be here. I'm excited to meet him, and it's my body's ready to be done carrying a baby. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited to meet him. I hope he has your beautiful blue green eyes.
We both have blue, bright eyes, so he
Oh,
definitely will.
oh, so beautiful. All
Yeah.
right. Well, let's do a little clink.
Yes.
I hope you have a wonderful rest of your morning, Mary, and I will probably be slacking you here soon. So I'll see you the rest of you guys later.
Yes, and don't be too hot. We have a heat wave, so stay
Oh,
cool, Mitra.
oh my gosh, I'm gonna have my little fan attachment while I'm like blending eyeshadow.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.